our daughter. It's a big deal, going back to your birth country.
We used to talk about it all the time. A grand adventure to find your birth mother.
Who needs more parents when I have the two best parents in the world?
I mean, I think with Lolo and Audrey, like, we just have so much multi-dimensionalness. There's so much humor, heart, and horniness. These beasts that have been dying to be unleashed, you know, in both characters, I think.
I think that what's fun about playing, like, that's probably one of my, like, prerequisites now is, like, I'm really drawn to characters that are flawed and are messy, and those, you know, Beef was the same way, like, seeing characters like that, you know, Asian Americans who have those kinds of qualities, I love, because when a character has a great, not a great flaw, but when they're messy and chaotic at first, that means that they have an arc to an actual trajectory and a through line. You know, they can get somewhere else by the end of the movie. And playing a character that is polished or is one-dimensional doesn't give you the same opportunity to, like, explore what a human goes through to, like, become another person, or, like, just to grow and to figure out who they are.
It really transformed into a telepathic, magical realness between the four of us, which is eye contact, some nods, and some sounds. Like that. And we just knew exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And you can't learn that, you know? It was very organic from day one.
And I also think that like, hidden language came from, like, for so long, all of us have been very happy to be in this industry in a way where we had to navigate how to communicate what we are thinking or what we are wanting to say about our characters, to make other people feel comfortable with, like, what we are saying. And I think that for all of us, you know, all four of us have come from a past, whether it be in personal life or in, you know, career or professional life, of, like, playing supporting characters. You know, I don't feel like I felt like a protagonist in my own life for a very long time. And I think that for all of us, like, having a set full of people and writers and producers and directors who are used to being like, how do I make everybody else the most comfortable? That makes for, like, the healthiest, most honest, like, fun set. So it's like we didn't even have to use words with each other. We already could kind of understand what the other person needed or wanted at a certain point.
Yeah,
and it was
because we've been there.
Yeah, it was really
know?
functional.
Yeah. Deadeye's coming, by the way.
Your cousin?
Deadeye?
Where did that come from? You know, I think I get it.
I'm gonna be a huge dork. I just think it was, like, really challenging, and I kind of loved having a challenge, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make people laugh. But there has always been a part of me that wanted to act on a very serious level, so I'm glad that there were some scenes that were a little bit more about, like, having heart and really being in the moment, and it was very, very, it was so cool to act alongside, you know, like, Stephanie and Ashley, who are, like, real trained actors, so I don't know.
This movie really scratched my previous life of doing a lot of sketch comedy and just a lot of comedy in general. That was kind of my way into acting. And, you know, I've said a bunch of times, but, you know, growing up in high school, people were like, oh, you should work with Seth Rogen one day. And I never thought that the way that I would get to work with Seth would be the four of us leading a film that he was producing.
Look at me! Look at me! At the time, like, you know, Deadeye is sort of going through, like, a gender journey. It's not that explicit, but it's sort of, I know it as the actor, and the creators all knew it, that they weren't, like, really around people that really understood them, and sort of by the end, after finding, you know, people that got them and feeling accepted by their peers, they, like, you know, take different pronouns, and that was, like, happening in my real life in real time, like, where I was really figuring out stuff about my gender, and, you know, had moved to New York and was away from my family, and, like, started to really, like, feel seen for who I am.
Yeah. You know, the journey that the characters go on is not unique to the Asian American experience. I'm Chinese Malaysian, I'm an immigrant, but most people in the world have had a similar experience of, you know, feeling that you don't quite belong in the space that you now live in. And we all have different journeys that we've been on to try to fit into that space, whether we feel like we have to prove ourselves or we have to act a certain way, or, you know, we have to kind of disavow who we actually are. And at the end of the day, for them, it's about finding their own people. And the moment they find, you know, their pocket and the people that make them feel whole, that they're always home. This chemistry that you see on screen, the friendship dynamics that they have, I want to say it's because they're just skilled, amazing actors, and that's part of it. But really, it's because from the moment they first met each other, they were thick as thieves. We would shoot all day, like 12, 16 hours, and then these four fools would go back and just keep hanging out with each other and spend all night playing games, like literally singing songs, shutting down restaurants, and literally like sleeping in each other's beds and on each other's sofas. And they brought that closeness and that friendship to the set every single day. It was a joy.